but a number of headlines to get to, not the least of which the interesting, if that's the word you want to call it. I'll go even stronger than that. How about horrendous performance for the Green Bay Packers and the reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers, blown out 38-3 against the New Orleans Saints in a solid start to the New Orleans, starting career of Jameis Winston. When you look at Aaron Rodgers and all of what is going to be said about him this week, about he doesn't really care about playing football anymore, and everything that the offseason brought affecting his performance in week one not being on the same page. I think what was most interesting is that had he taken every snap on Sunday and spiked the ball, his quarterback rating would have been higher than it ended up being. And it was just a really difficult performance for him. And it's not something that you never see. It happens. He was 15-28 for 133, no touchdowns, and the 2 interceptions. It wasn't like the Packers won the line of scrimmage, certainly. I mean, New Orleans was able to get after Green Bay on the offensive line pretty well. But there's so much to be said about where the Packers stand. And I feel like there are a number of people who are unfairly writing the Packers off at the moment. And it's not to say that this performance wasn't concerning, but this is a team that's been in the NFC Championship game over the last couple of years. And to say that they're done because of a poor week one performance, I don't think sits right with me. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but I'm not saying that they look good. I'm not saying that things don't need to drastically improve, but to say that the Packers are done already in terms of competing in the NFC seems a little bit early to me.
Yeah, it's definitely early. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he won MVP last year, and he had a game like this last year as well against the Bucs. I think it was week 6. He had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. The Bucs blew him out, and that's exactly what happened here. This game might have been a little bit worse against a team that wasn't expected to be as good as the Bucs either. But every quarterback has a bad game like this, and I don't think you can write off the reigning MVP and an offense that's incredibly talented after one game. And it's not like the Saints have a bad defense either. They've got a very good defense. Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron Jordan. They've got a very well coached team. It was just an uncharacteristically bad game by Aaron Rodgers, and I expect to bounce back next week against the Lions, which is a great team to bounce back against.
What's interesting to me is I was looking at CBS had a graphic on Sunday about the leaders in sacks in the NFL over the last 4 years. And it was in the context of doing an interview with Myles Garrett ahead of Cleveland's matchup with Kansas City. We'll get to that later in the show, and what was an excellent performance for Cleveland to start controlling most of the football game. And then Patrick Mahomes, of course, reminding everybody how great that he is to lead Kansas City back once again from significantly behind. And they just are able to find ways to win like no other team in really the modern NFL with the way that they come from behind and win football games. But people forget how good New Orleans' defensive line is, and Cam Jordan in particular. Like, when I saw that he is a top 3 sack getter in the NFL over the last 4 years, I was like, wow, that is not somebody I necessarily think of. I mean, you think about how great that Cam Jordan is, and you know that he's a factor and somebody you have to identify on every snap. But when you see the production that he has been able to just consistently put forth as part of a New Orleans Saints defensive line that is a first-round pick in Marcus Davenport as well, that really was able to do some things. It's a tough matchup, in particular for Green Bay, who fell behind early and did not run the football very well. They carried the ball just 15 times for 43 yards. Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 9 yards. I mean, that was a running attack that was really shut down, and that's something that's going to make things difficult. I don't care how good your quarterback is, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson. It's a spot where the quarterback's going to struggle.
Yeah, I mean, the New Orleans even gave Tom Brady a hard time last year with that defensive line. They really get after it. Cam Jordan's not as flashy as guys like Myles Garrett or the Bosas or Aaron Donald, but he's a great player. The Saints overall, their defense overall is just suffocating, and it can get to the quarterback. And when your running back only runs for 9 yards, you're really going to struggle, especially because Aaron Jones is expected to do well on the ground. He averages over 5 yards a carry. And when you only have 9 yards on the ground, you can't really pass that well.